Hello and welcome. I got this card come up in a reading today, and for some reason it clicked. I wasn't focusing on my past. I was focusing on the past of my area that I grew up in, and how there's absolutely no history here. The oldest tree in our region is only a couple 100 years old. But in BC, I mean, you have many trees that are like 500 plus, but nothing older than that. There's no 1,000-year-old trees. Where are all the 1,000-year-old trees? And even in places like those Mayan temples that they found underneath all the forest, those forests aren't even that old. I mean, if people have been around for thousands of years, then how come there isn't anything older around those pyramids? What if there's something older here, then we just, live on top of it? Because everything around here, it's like something wiped everything completely out. And they decided, whoever they are, to go in a completely different direction, to start separating everyone because they can make money that way. This is like a major combined effort over time and through many multi-tiered media and people. And they decided that instead of building one home that a community would live in, thrive in, always, forced to talk with each other and work things out because there's nowhere else to go, went from that to suburbia, where, you are an asshole and shamed if you don't move out on your own at a certain age, or get a job, or are blue collar, or this or that. Everything and everyone is completely separated now. Those who have their land and pass down their land, and families, multi-generations living together, people are like, how do you do that? Because they were never forced to deal with anything. They just are encouraged to run away because we can build more houses. The more people separate, the more houses we can build. The more let's invent these holidays so we can sell candy, and invent these laws for the taxes on the candy and the houses and all these things that they want. All these things that we're going to make them think that they need, because they're a fucking asshole. They're not patriotic, they're not loving, they're not caring, they're not this or that, unless they do it this way. They hoard all this money, and they don't do anything with it. That we know, they're not sharing it. So it's got to be something underground, right? Everyone keeps finding all these underground catacombs. When there was ever a war, people always went to the churches. Under the churches, there were always catacombs. They would put dead people in there because you don't want to disrespect the dead, so we're not going to move this body. But really, this body's hiding a doorway. Many doorways. Some that are supposed to be a dead end, like a labyrinth, just to fuck with your mind, just to take you longer to find them. There has been an underground railroad since the shift, since the change, since the reset, and this reset isn't that old. You can tell by the buildings around you. I mean, there has been houses and multi-leveled architecture. And we're not just talking about buildings. We're talking about bridges and shit that's been around for ages. They can't even date them. They've been around so long. So we've had the capability to make houses like that last lifetimes. But you look around and all you see is suburbs, stick-framed houses, things that no one can survive in if, shit really did hit the fan. Everyone is evacuating. The Sphinx was like almost buried in sand. And before that, they said that there was a lot of water damage to it that happened before it was buried in all this sand. So what chain reaction brought about the total annihilation of our entire history? Why do we have to look through everyone's interpretation of what history is? Why is there any guessing? How come it's not in concrete? How come it's not in stone? It is. That's because it is. We just don't have access to it. But soon someone will. Because that's also a pattern in our humanity, our history. There's always a whistleblower. There's always someone who is just such a great actor, can blend in and just fucking be a part of the system without even knowing that it's there, Like some sort of immunity to a virus, You don't know it's there. But it's there, and it's doing its fucking job. But this isn't a group effort. This is something that has to be done by a handful of people, because that's the only way to be sneaky. You can't have a whole army show up in the door and say, hey, we're not suspicious or anything. We just came to hang out and, have a good time. We brought this horse with us. We thought you'd like it. How many times does that work? And did that actually work? I mean, really? They didn't hear any noises or thought, you know what? This massive Trojan horse should be a lot lighter, shouldn't it? Why is it so heavy? Why is it so hard to move this fucking thing? You're telling me they had the capability to build these massive things, but not the problem solving or whatever? They couldn't play chess? They couldn't see that step coming? I don't know, maybe I'm just a stoner and I'm completely lost in my thoughts. It's good weed. That was some good shit. I don't even know what it was called. But I will post it in the description. Have a good one.